NFC time.
Yes, jump to NFC. We spent a lot of time.
All right.
This has been a long podcast.
We'll speed run this NFC. Okay. I got the Eagles. Obvious. They own that division. They own the Cowboys when they're not playing with a backup quarterback. The 49ers. Sons of the Eagles. Crying about the playoffs still. And also, Brock Purdy is very overrated. It just so happens they're not in the best division. I got the Vikings winning their division. I got them barely beating out Detroit, only because I'm going to bite the bullet and trust Kirk Cousins more than I trust Jared Goff.
Super Bowl NFC Championship winner, Jared Goff? Are you kidding me?
Jared Goff has looked outstanding in camp as of August 7th when this is being
Kirk
filmed.
Cousins has the best receiver in the league. And Detroit's former second best weapon. I have New Orleans as the 4 seed. This coincides with the hot take I will have later. I have
that take, by the way.
I have the Lions squeaking in as the 5 seed. I think they could easily go into New Orleans and upset them in the first round. I have the Cowboys, who never go away, but it will never be their year. And then the 7 seed, I have the Falcons and one of the best running back prospects, along with the signing of Jesse Bates and the improvement of Desmond Ridder. They'll squeak into the playoffs. And that's my NFC teams.
All right, my NFC. I'm just going to say Eagles and 49ers, obviously. They're both going to win the divisions. Have my questions about Brock Purdy. I still think Trey Lance could be pretty good.
Several days later.
This football, he's throwing it back across the field, back his body, and Shelley's got the interception. He just isn't able to squeeze it. It gets out of his hands and falls right into the unexpected hands of.
We'll see what happens there. That's going to be an interesting dilemma. But Eagles, top 5 team in the league. Just offensive line, defensive line, secondary. DeAndre Swift is great. Jalen Hurts, obviously, good. 49ers, good. They're just going to win the divisions. Next, I got the Lions. I have a special connection with the Lions. Being the 2 only 0-16 teams in history, the Lions are my second team. I hate all the other teams in the NFL, other than the Browns as my number 1 and the Lions as my number 2.
Dude, I hate them. I hate them.
Yes, and the Jaguars. I like the Jaguars. But I'm a big Lions fan. I think they're going to do good. Dan Campbell is that guy. I feel like the players respect him. He knows how to motivate a group of men towards all one goal, all fighting for each other, all that stuff. I just love Dan Campbell. I love everything about the Lions. They're gritty. They know what it's like to lose. They know what it's like to win now. They're just great. Next, I got the Panthers winning that division. I think they're going to sneak in. Obviously, not the best team. Wouldn't even be like a top 10 seed in the AFC. But I think Bryce Young will do good. He's smaller than Kenny Pickett's hands, but I think he'll do good. You know, at Alabama, he was facing NFL defenses, like against
In practice?
Yeah, again, in practice. I don't know. Did they play Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. And then like DJ Moore, I'm high on him. Miles Sanders, I think he's going to do good with a more impactful role. That defense is underrated.
You got something to say about DJ Moore?
DJ Moore's not
He doesn't
on the
like DJ
Panthers.
Moore.
DJ Moore's on the Bears.
He was on the Panthers. I got that mismatch. Okay, that's bad. Kelvin Benjamin, I think he's going to do good also.
Isn't Calvin Benjamin the one that Booger McFarland said was a Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end?
Yeah.
He's still in the league?
No,
I'm joking.
Okay.
Greg Olson, too. No, but whatever. They're gonna win a bad division. It is what it is. Like, the Vikings are a wild card team, and they're gonna get a home. It's just all messed up. I don't
You just
like
made
it.
both of us look stupid. You hear DJ Moore comment, and then I was like, Calvin Benjamin?
Yeah. All right, wild cards, though. Vikings, obviously, if they don't win the division, I think the Lions and Vikings are both gonna make the playoffs. It's just whether one of them gets a home game in the first round. Whether they're playing at Ford Field or wherever the hell the Vikings play. Giants.
Mercedes-Benz, right?
That's
Falcons.
Oh, that's the Falcons. No.
M&T
Whatever.
Bank.
It is. It's M&T Bank. Yeah.
All right, we got to keep going. Last two
Sorry.
wild card spots. I don't have these in any order, by the way. Giants and Seahawks. I think Daniel Jones is going to be good. Darren Waller has been absolutely slaughtering the Giants' defense, which admittedly isn't the best, but has been absolutely slaughtering them in training camp. And Seahawks, I think Geno's that guy. I'm really high on him. DK, JSN, Tyler Lockett. That's one of the best receiving trios in the league. A very good young tight end.
You have no Cowboys?
Interesting.
I think CeeDee Lamb is going to have an Offensive Player of the Year caliber season. And it's not just because he's on my fantasy team and I took him over A.J. Brown. But,
terrible.
yeah, Seahawks, Tariq Woolen. I love their defense. Their defense is all dogs. I think they're just going to do very well.
Cole, let me ask you something.
Taking that wild card spot.
Goal line fade. Are you going to A.J. Brown or CeeDee Lamb?
A.J. Brown's not even the best receiver on his own team. So.
Bro.
What? Dude, Devontae Smith is not better than A.J. Brown. What are you talking about?
CeeDee Lamb is far and away not even close to the best receiver on his own team. There is a debate that Devonta Smith is
not a
better
debate.
than A.J. Brown.
There is not a debate.
That's enough.
What's your NFC? Just
Okay.
say your NFC.
I feel strange here because I'm about to be outnumbered 2-1 for the first time today. So I have the 49ers as the 1 seed. I think they're the best roster in the NFL. I think, unlike you, I don't think Brock Purdy is overrated.
Brock Purdy is not better than Kenny Pickett.
Let's
make that
That's
clear.
true.
That is not a contest.
But
If you put Kenny Pickett on the 49ers last year,
Yes.
they are playing in the Super Bowl.
Oh my!
If Brock Purdy's healthy on the 49ers, they're probably playing in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
You're telling me
If
John
We're getting out of schedule.
Okay.
The 49ers roster outside of QB is just so much better than the Steelers that they were able to carry Brock Purdy.
The only thing the Steelers have on the 49ers roster is T.J. Watt. That's it.
And Nick
even
Bosa.
then,
Even then, the
49ers have Nick Bosa.
They have better receivers.
Debo, Ayuk.
49ers have better receivers for how they run their offense.
All right, 49ers.
Okay, go ahead.
You got 49ers. As
49ers is the 1 seed.
Action.
I was going to leave that in.
Oh. Action.
Action again.
For
Oh, this 2 seed is absolutely abysmal,
Guys,
in my opinion.
I'm going to justify it. But 49ers, to me, I mean, Brock Purdy's going to progress. He's playing really well in training camp. He's healthy. He's ready to go. Kyle Shanahan's an elite play caller. Their defense is the best in the NFL. It's going to keep getting better. They have young pieces all over that defense like Hufanga that are going to continue to improve. It's absolutely loaded. The rest of that defense is not that great. Seahawks, I think the Seahawks are a one-year wonder. You have a team like that every other year. I'd love to see Geno Smith once again, not right back. But I don't see it happening, to be honest with you. I don't think that's something that's sustainable. I just don't love Seattle long term. The Cardinals are the favorite to get the number 1 seed. And whenever you have a team in your division that's a favorite to get the number 1 seed, it's probably not that great of a division. I mean, the Cardinals are abysmal. They've got Kyler Murray. That's the only bright spot. And even then, he's right now probably a bottom 16 quarterback.
Number 1 pick or number 1 seed?
Did I say number 1 seed?
Yeah.
Yikes! Number one pick. Number 1 pick. Thank you.
Will you please get to your 2 seed because...
And the 49, their offense is designed for rack, right after the catch. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, especially Deebo Samuel, no one better than that at the wide receiver position and versatility than Deebo Samuel. Breaking tackles, he's one of the most physical receivers in the league, if not the most. Brandon Ayuk is a route technician that keeps getting better. George Kittle, when he's healthy, is untackleable. He's an unbelievable athlete. If you can get him healthy in the postseason, he's a force to be reckoned with. And if he can stay, I know he's had injury problems, so I'm not really even factoring him into this offense because he's had injury problems.
And
but
you didn't even mention CMC.
And I didn't even mention Christian McCaffrey, another rack demon. I mean, that dude is... He's so talented. He's the best receiving back in the NFL. He's still a quality back between the tackles despite his size. He's great in space. The only thing he doesn't have is top-tier speed, and even then he's got good speed. He's got good enough speed to make things happen. We saw him do it last year, and he's going to keep doing it.
CMC is actually so talented that he's the second best running back in the NFL.
He honestly probably is. He probably is. I'd still take Nick Chubb as a pure runner, but if I'm looking for versatility, and in the 49ers offense, I would rather have Christian McCaffrey than Nick Chubb. Is that fair to say? In the 49ers offense. I think Christian McCaffrey is a better fit for what they do. Would you agree with that? You're talking about the Browns, who are a power zone run scheme team, and the 49ers do some of that, but they also prefer to have a guy, they spread the ball around a lot to guys that really make things happen after the catch. Christian McCaffrey is a better receiving back than Nick Chubb. So now what you want me to get to, the pick that you guys are going to both strongly disagree with me on. I have the Dallas Cowboys at the second seed. Now, I'm a guy that hates on the Cowboys, and I think the Cowboys are probably a first-round exit, but you can't deny it. They're good in the regular season. They've got a quality defense. Trayvon Diggs is very good. They brought in Stephon Gilmore at corner, too. He's still good, and he's going to be able to lock up Tier 2 wide receivers just fine. Trayvon Diggs is a very quality corner. Micah Parsons, an elite pass rusher, probably top 5. Not probably, he's top 5. He's probably arguably top
5 pass rusher.
Micah Parsons
he's an elite.
Great.
I mean, a guy that was drafted as a middle linebacker changes to an edge rusher and is better than almost everybody else in the NFL.
He wanted that bag.
Wildly impressive what he's done.
He learned to play
He's
edge.
going
so
to
he
be in
can
the
make more money.
NFL top 100 over Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt, by the way. So
He will be.
He deserves it this
Which
year.
is unfortunate.
No, this
That
year he
is
deserves
very
it. This year he
unfortunate.
deserves it. He deserves it this year. TJ Watt was out 6 games. Myles Garrett
Okay.
was good.
you keep
yeah,
going.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
how I
We
saw
keep getting so off track.
I
sorry.
have an ADHD brain. What do you expect from me? All right, but anyway. The Cowboys have a very good roster. They have a quarterback in Dak Prescott who I think he's either overrated or he's overhated. It's one of the two, and it goes back and forth. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback, to be honest with you, but he's perfectly capable of putting up big numbers. He's in that Kirk Cousins category.
He's
You give him a
closer.
good offense around him. He and Kirk Cousins are on the same tier. You put a good offense around him, they're going to put up good numbers. Cousins has been top 5 in almost every passing metric the last 5 seasons. Dak Prescott is kind of in that area, although not as high in those metrics as Cousins. But, he's got CeeDee Lamb to throw to, who I was very wrong about. I did not think CeeDee Lamb would step into that primary number 1 receiver role, and he tore the Packers up. I watched it live. I watched it in person. I was in Lambeau Field. And he just absolutely shredded us. So, he's and I watched him all year. He's a very quality wide receiver. Yeah, great stadium, by the way. I love that place. But off topic again. Thanks, Cole, for distracting me for the 400th time today. They're a very good roster. I think Mike McCarthy is overhated. It was time for him to go in Green Bay, but he's a good coach. He is. He's not a great coach, but he's a good coach. There's some question marks about time management, and maybe you got to draw up a better last play of the game.
Zeke at center.
Zeke at center. Fred Warner said, "Sit down, boy," and.
The throw was
got cut.
Last play.
He got cut because his coach put him in center.
Did he get cut or did he just not get re-signed?
He got cut.
Oh, it was cut. Damn.
He's getting way too much money.
He was getting way too much money. I could have told you that. First of all, that is the reason, by the way, that now Tony Pollard's on the franchise tag. Josh Jacobs is on the franchise tag. Saquon Barkley had to take a pay cut from what he wanted and was originally on the franchise tag. It's because of Zeke. That's what happens when you overpay a guy and you don't get the productivity you want out of it. The NFL owners go, ooh, that didn't go well at all. Oh, we lost a ton of money on a guy that he's not even our best back anymore. We're not doing that anymore. Tony Pollard's not getting the bag. Josh Jacobs not getting the bag. Austin Eckler's not getting the bag. Joe Mixon's not getting the bag. Oh, these running backs not getting the bag. I'm not blaming Zeke per se, but that's what happens when you give those guys this bag. Back on topic. Cowboys are a good team, and I don't necessarily think... I think they're... I'm going to get to why I don't think the Eagles are winning the division in a minute, because I do have them making the playoffs, of course. So now, Lions, I have them at 3rd. NFC North is a weak division. It's weak. The Vikings are good. The Packers could be good. It really just depends on Jordan Love. I think they have some good personnel on the defensive side of the ball, but for now, I don't have them making the playoffs. We'll revisit that mid-season. But for now, I don't have them making the playoffs. Lions are just, you've seen them ascend every year. They've done a little better. You gave Dan Campbell love. I love Dan Campbell. Motor City Dan Campbell. MCDC. He lives and breathes Detroit Lion. He has completely changed the culture of that football team. And it hurts not to have a locker room guy like Jamal Williams there anymore, who, by the way, is in New Orleans now. But it's such a well-coached football team. That offensive coordinator they have over there, who I just, for the life of me, cannot
Ben
remember.
Johnson.
Thank you. I keep thinking Joe Brady for some godforsaken reason. I don't know why. But yes, Ben Johnson.
You were talking about him last podcast, too.
Yeah, I know. You noticed that?
Yeah.
I called him Joe Brady, and Chance was looking at me for like 10 seconds. He was
Uh-huh.
like, who's that? Yeah, Ben Johnson's a fantastic play caller. And the Lions they just have things trending in the right direction. They brought in another running back, so they're not hurting at running back. Their receivers are good. Their offensive line is very high quality. Their defense continues to improve, and they're just tremendously well coached. They have a fantastic culture that's going to become a winning culture. I trust Jared Goff with Ben Johnson as his offensive coordinator. He's gotten better and better and better throughout the last season and a half. Constant improvement. They knocked the Packers off when they're in a win and in the playoffs game. The Lions weren't even playing for a playoff spot thanks to the Seattle victory, but the Packers were playing for a playoff spot, and the Lions said, nah, you're staying home with us. And they got the job done. I mean, that's the sign of a team that's incredibly well coached, that has a fantastic culture in place. And you saw they went, 7-1 down the stretch, or 8-1 down the stretch?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was either 7 or 8-1. I think it was 8-1 down the stretch. I mean, they completely turned it around. You hope they don't pull what the Miami Dolphins pulled the last 2 seasons before this year, where they would start 1-7 and then go 7-1. And then I think they started like really good one year and then they lost a bunch. So hopefully they don't do that under what's his name?
Pittsburgh Steelers, the worst undefeated team of all time.
Whoa.
Sorry.
We're talking about the NFC. You sending strays over here.
Stop throwing shade at your division rival.
That's what I do.
Lock it in. I have the Saints winning the NFC South. Derek Carr is the best quarterback in that division. Bar none, honestly. And they've got a good running game. Alvin Kamara's only going to be out 3 games, so hopefully he bounces back to where we saw him before. I don't love the coaching staff, but the Saints have a good defense. It's a quality defense. They struggle against mobile quarterbacks, but other than that, it's a very good defense with talent all over the place.
Just re-signed Cam Jordan as well.
Just resigned Cam Jordan, who, by the way, is a fantastic pass rusher. So the Saints are going to be fine. They're not a team I trust in the playoffs. Derek Carr isn't someone I really love late in the season, even though he doesn't have a lot of comeback victories. He has a lot of those. But he's not someone I trust late season, especially in the playoffs. He didn't play well in that Bengals playoff game, that's for sure. And I don't know. I guess Slant Boy's back, and he's certainly a lot more than the Slant Boy. He gets a bad rap. Michael Thomas is a good receiver when he's healthy. But let's be real. We thought he was going to be healthy last year. He played well for 2 games last year, and my toe hurts or something like that. What was it? And then
was a toe.
he hurt his toe and then didn't play the rest of the season. Or like he came back and got hurt again. I don't know. He's good when he's on the field. He hasn't been on the field in 3 years. He broke the reception record and said, peace out. Like, I don't understand. You're not... Oh, okay, dude. Like, there's not much you can do with that. So, I mean, they're not that great of a team. The NFC South is mediocre, so I think they honestly the entire NFC is mediocre. So I've got the Eagles on the 5th seed, which I know you guys hate me for not having the Eagles at the 1 and 2 seed. Here's my gripe: Eagles are a huge RPO offense. New rule the NFL instated this year: you can't hand the ball off in front of you. This no longer allowed. What does that mean? Bye-bye RPOs. Now, if you want to run an RPO, it's those flat route RPOs. Sorry, I'm not trying to stick my ass in your face.
Oh.
We're good. You can do this and throw a flat route, but say goodbye to those RPO where you're reading that middle linebacker over the middle and you got your Dallas Goedert running a little quick slant over the middle. And, he jumped the run because we were a really good inside zone team. I'm going to pull it and dump it there. That's gone now. You can't do that anymore because you can't hand the ball off in front. So now, that's a huge piece of their offense when you have a mobile quarterback like that and an elite run game with a quality offensive line, athletic offensive linemen all over the place there. They're really, really good up front. So you want to run the ball. And a big piece of why their run game is effective is because their RPO game is effective. They go hand in hand. So their run game is going to get hurt and their passing game is going to get hurt because that RPO is a big piece of their passing game as well. Now you're only able to turn to your side and read that outside backer. And if you read that outside backer, he breaks down the run, and you can throw that little flat, which they also run very effectively. So that piece is still there.
RPO peak zone bubble.
Matthew Meager. Shout out to MMG.
My only counter to that would be they countered themselves that rule by getting Swift, by signing Penny. They have a lightning and thunder type of thing, a receiving back, a back that can go through the tackles. I think we're going to see more designed receiving back stuff for Swift from Hurts.
I think so
quick
too.
Stuff. So I think that'll end up just filling part of the void.
Yeah, but the thing is part of the Eagles' success passing the football is they run the ball so well. Now you got to bring your strong safety in the box, or you got to go 3-4, 4-3. Nickel is tough to play against those guys. It's really tough to play a nickel or a dime set where you got an extra DB on the field when you're getting pounded all the way up the field. Stop. 4 to 5 yards a carry all season long is really, really tough on a defense. All of a sudden, you can't do this. The RPOs are gone, and you can still bring a guy in the. They're still going to have to bring a guy in the box. So I mean, those plays are still going to be there, but defense is going to be more reactive to maybe a swinging back when you can't do that as much. And also, the other big rule change. You're talking about the best QB sneak team in the history of the NFL. Can't do that anymore. You can't do QB sneaks.
92%.
92%. You can't do QB sneaks the way they do QB sneaks anymore. They also changed that.
You
So
know
that's
what,
two
though?
big hits targeted at Eagles offense, and that hurts the Ravens offense too with the RPOs, by the way. All right, I have the Vikings. Vikings are a good team. They take a step back. Originally, I considered them not making the playoffs. But when I weigh my options, I like Kirk Cousins more than I like Daniel Jones. I like Justin Jefferson a lot more than that, whoever they have, receiver over there in New York. I like Brian Dable. I don't know how you say his name. He's a fantastic coach. I really like him.
Me as well.
And, I mean, you saw what he was able to do in 1 year over there in New York. But I like him more than Kevin O'Connell. But when you look at the division they're in, Cowboys and Eagles are both better than either of the top, at least roster-wise, both better than either of the top two teams in the NFC North, where the Vikings are a top two team in the NFC North. Giants aren't. They're not a top two team in the NFC East. You watch, they couldn't beat the Eagles last year, and they're not going to again. I don't see how they compete against the Eagles. It's a huge mismatch. Eagles showed it. I mean, obviously, things change year to year, so we could get shocked, but you got a disgruntled Saquon who is generally injury prone, even if he was healthy last year for the most part. He's generally injury prone, and if he goes down, say goodbye to your offense. I mean, look at Daniel Jones' stats with Saquon Barkley on the field and without Saquon Barkley on the field. It's night and day. Like, Daniel Jones is a quality quarterback when Saquon Barkley's on the field. And when he's not on the field, he's very, very mediocre. And to me, what does that say? That says paying him $40 million a year on a big contract extension? Probably not the move.
Daniel Jones is that guy. I'm just going to say he is that guy. He can get it done. More than Tua.
Wow. Now, that is a bad take. Tua is a pure passer. Even if he doesn't have the arm, Tua is clearly a pure passer. He's fantastic at reading zone defense.
Tua is a pure passer. He's not a pure completer.
Does that make sense to you?
Kind of.
I just want to...
He doesn't. He sure does pass the ball. He doesn't complete it a lot, but he passes a lot.
He does. What do you mean he doesn't complete it? I'm pretty sure he led the league in completion percentage this
You're
year.
getting him off top.
He has a high completion percentage.
I like making Randy mad.
And I have a different team that a Bengals safety went to. Not the Falcons, but the Panthers, new home of Von Bell. I like the Panthers' run game. They were a fantastic running football team late in the season. You saw what they did to the Lions defensive front when the Lions were trying to put together that big stretch. Their only loss in their 8-1 stretch was to the Panthers, and it was because they ran for 250 yards on them. It was bad. They got absolutely crushed. Stop it.
Keep pounding.
They pounded.
That's their slogan.
They pounded the run. They did. They kept pounding. Bryce Young is a very bright young quarterback. They brought in Adam Thielen, who's not like an elite receiver by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a solid veteran guy that can use in the slot. He's a technician.
Sneaky athletic.
Yeah, Panthers are a good football team. With that being said, they're not a good football team, but they're better than most of the NFC. The NFC is terrible, like we established.